Hey everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Set. I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are back. And
We're back a little late.
Yeah,
It's okay.
a little late, but we have another break in racing, and it's just been difficult. I can't wait till, I think really after Canada. Then we kind of have like some consistent racing.
When we go back to Europe, well, when they go back to Europe.
Yeah.
We'll
get some consistent racing. Well, there's going to be like a weekend off, 2 weekends off here, but it'll feel more normal.
I haven't checked you know what, while I'm here, I'll check it right now. I haven't checked the weather in Montreal. But we have had horrible, horrible weather here in Ontario. I wouldn't say horrible, very inconsistent weather. So
weather not fitting for cars that need to be warm, tires that need to be warm.
Well, yeah. Regardless of the wetness, it's just been cold.
Yeah.
And rarely, I think here where we are is going to be in the 18 to 22s ish. So that would make Montreal this weekend. Saturday 21. Yeah, no, actually it looks pretty good. Still not ideal.
For this weekend, they still have another weekend to go.
No, it's this weekend.
No, it's not.
Oh, it isn't. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we had 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay, disregard.
So it could change. It could still change.
I could cut it out, but I'm not going to cut out my stupidity. So
it could still
It will definitely change. It will definitely change. Absolutely.
Yeah. But
yeah,
we haven't had consistent nice weather, I should say. Like we get the odd day of 21 with sun, and then,
it's been one day, and then it's been more often than not in the 8 to 13 degrees Celsius ish.
Yeah.
So not ideal.
Yeah. Not a weather podcast, but anyways, before we jump into all of what we have to talk about, just as a reminder, if you want to go, or not if you want to, go on social media.
You should. You will.
Go over to @FreshSetPodcast on social media. Follow, share, subscribe, like, comment, all those things, as well as where you get your podcasts, and YouTube @FreshSetPodcast, and do the same thing, like, share, subscribe, follow, comment, star, whatever. All the things. Thanks. So an off week, not a lot of like hard-hitting news, but
not a lot of hard-hitting news, but a lot of commentary.
Yes.
In my opinion, because it consumed my day today.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Yeah.
But we also have some rules, some rule changes, some business.
We can get into that first. Ish. So going forward, they have approved for a shift in power. I believe it's going forward, isn't it? Not for next year. No, sorry, it's for next year. They approved next year. Is my mistake. They already have they have done their regulation change. Not to say that there's not going to be anything else coming. But for now, the FIA has approved a 50 kilowatt increase to the ICE and a 50 watt reduction in electrical power unit for 2027. This is going to bring it more closer to a 60%, 40% internal combustion engine versus battery power. Going to bring us again a little closer to a traditional F1 engine again. A little closer, not very much closer. But it's also been approved by, I believe it was Honda and Ford as well, saying that they will be ready for 2027. Of course, Honda did say they'd be ready for 2026. Oh, that's going so far.
Not so good for them.
So we'll see. Ford, I believe, will be ready. I mean, they've had some issues. I don't even know if it's been Ford's issues in the Red Bulls. Or if it's more so chassis and aerodynamics and no idea exactly what it is. but they seem to be sorting their issues out a lot better than Honda is, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Not McLaren. Aston Martin this year is the only team with a Honda engine.
They are the only team with a Honda engine, and the 2 Red Bull teams are the only ones with the Ford engine.
With the Ford, right? Okay.
Yes, and then I believe there was. I think there was. I'm not gonna. You know what? Not even bother. I think there was more of an update on the V8 engines. More teams being into it.
Yeah.
Or not opposed to it. It's just going to depend on if it's 2030 or 2031. Really, I think at this point.
Yeah, 1 year difference. Which
yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
At that point. And then we hit the rumor mill.
Or when you don't have news, just make it up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. These writers have to make a living, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So they'll just take something and run with it.
Yeah. Well,
which is what we're doing.
Before you go into that one, I actually, since we kind of talked about the cars and manufacturers and the teams, I'm not sure if you saw this today. I think it came out.
Yes, I think I know what you're going to say.
About Alpine?
Yes.
So yeah. Alpine might be getting a name change. 2027.
Title sponsor change, yeah.
Title sponsor change, but I mean, they're putting in a lot of money that the team...
They're still Alpine.
Well, I saw that they could be going as Gucci Alpine.
They could. So BWT is apparently not renewing the contract, or it's rumored that they're not renewing the contract for 2027. So we could have a Gucci car.
Yeah.
In 2027.
I mean, the concept car that I saw looked really cool.
Oh, I was going to say the exact opposite. I was going to say,
really?
The concept car, all the concept cars that I had seen looked complete shit. It looked like the Kardashians bought a team. And it's just the
one that I saw I didn't hate. It was green. It was like a full body green one.
Yeah, it's the typical Gucci kind of.
And then I think the halo had like the red.
Everything I saw had like massive Gucci sign.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Oh, it was absolutely ridiculous. I thought I was in some kind of music video where it's just like I would normally change channel.
Yeah. No, you saw a different one to me then.
I saw several of those that were just like that. Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
But at least we probably get away from the blue and Pepto-Bismol. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just thought it was kind of interesting that we have another design house, because we've got Louis Vuitton that is a sponsor of F1, and if you notice
LVMH, which also owns like the Moe and all that other stuff, and
but if you notice the carrying briefcase of all of the trophies is in a Louis Vuitton suitcase.
Yep. Which I've hated this year.
Yeah. But I mean, we're starting to see some of these high-end designers coming into sporting.
And I don't mind the money they bring. I really don't. It's just, you're taking a sport that is already so out of reach for so many people. And you're just taking it even further. Now your ticket prices are going up. Yeah, all these things are like, I get it's bringing more brand awareness and it's bringing more eyes on the teams and on the sports, and I'm all for that. But it just feels like you're just pulling it away from the everyday fan and just trying to reach a market that you've already got a market for. I mean, it's already a luxury sport, if you want it to be. Yeah. But you're moving it away from the accessibility of the average fan.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It's going to be interesting if this actually comes to fruition. But what I also was thinking about is listening to Martin Brundle, Ted Kravitz, and Crofty have to say, and here comes the Gucci Alpine.
Wait till one of them, just for the fun of it, just says Gucky.
Yeah, just like, I cannot picture them being like, here comes the Gucci. Yeah. Like, it's just sounds ridiculous.
Even if it's Gucci Alpine, I mean, I hope they just keep it with Alpine, because I mean, even when McLaren was outfitted with Marlboro, it wasn't the Marlboro car. It was, I'm sure somebody did say it, but it was always the McLaren or whatever. So
Anyways,
it's gonna be
funny. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm sure there will be an official announcement soon. But yeah. Anyways, on to some other drama.
Yeah, rumor mill. Just because that's all there is right now. Most of it, all
Yeah.
there is right now. First of all, the last day or two, there's been rumors of now who was it? Louis Decker, some Dutch journalist. It always seems to come out of the Netherlands. It's
Yeah.
always the Dutch journalists.
It is.
They have
The Dutch,
absolutely
the Germans, and the Austrians
no,
always.
they have no problem with just making shit up and seeing
Yeah.
what sticks. That Lewis Hamilton is going to retire at the end of the year. Why would he walk away from that money? I don't see him retiring and not taking the pay. Because I would assume you're retiring, like you're like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm
Yeah.
just gonna walk away from my contract. I would rather get fired, which they would never do, so they're still gonna pay him.
No, I don't. I'm not saying his car is much better than last year, but the car is doing a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's very early to make that decision.
Yeah, but he
Or
seems to
talking
be enjoying this year a little bit more. Why would, unless something drastic happens this season, I can't see this being his ending season. I think he gives one more year to Ferrari, at least.
Or we are just seeing, again, luxury ruining the sport, and Kim Kardashian is just fucked him.
Jeez.
Well, she is, but
Jesus.
she's just, just taking him away from the sport. As most women. I'm joking. Not just after Mother's Day, please. I had to do it. Couldn't not do it. But anyways, I don't think there's any validity to this. I don't see it happening, especially not this early.
No.
We've seen early Lewis Hamilton announcements, but actually, no, actually, it's possible. And a whole year of Carlos racing, knowing he wasn't coming back. So, because of Lewis, I doubt it. I'm pretty sure he's going to come out in Canada and be like, there's nothing to that.
Yeah. A retirement, I wouldn't see this early. I can't imagine it would be this early.
Not this year. I think he finishes out his contract with Ferrari.
Yeah.
At least. Unless they replace him. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. There's that rumor. There's also the rumor talking about I think everybody's just trying to see what I think everybody's just spitballing like we did before. There's the thought that maybe Max might sign with McLaren, whether it's following GP or, he's just not happy at Red Bull and wants to leave. And I think GP would have a big part in that if he was going to another team. I think it's more likely that he does go to McLaren if he were to leave than a Mercedes, having that familiarity with GP. We talked about that before. I think Zach Brown is the only deterrent there. And that there might just be a driver swap. Obviously, if he's leaving, Lando's their golden boy. Piastri's the odd man out. And that Red Bull would likely take a stab at... I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. He's the only elite driver that would be available because Carlos Sainz isn't coming back to Red Bull.
No. I mean, switching out for Red Bull, like looking at the Red Bull side of things, switching out Max for Oscar, it's the same. Like, you're getting the same personality, different font.
Driver, though.
Driver, I mean, yeah, comparable driver as well. I mean, he drives very similarly to Max, which might have him have a good handle on that Red Bull, which doesn't seem to be as difficult as it has been in the past.
It was, yeah.
So the Red Bull side, I think, would be okay. Mm-hmm. The McLaren side of things, I can see this going not well, downhill real fast. Yeah.
I don't think that as much as Zach Brown would be having a wet dream over that combination of Lando and Max, and I don't doubt that. I don't say that jokingly. I think he would. They're two drivers that I don't think are going to get along when push comes to shove.
No.
And Lando's supposed to be your golden boy, and now they've signed the most expensive and arguably the best driver on the grid, and you put up an equal machinery, and now all of a sudden he's beating out his teammate. And even if he's not giving up a space for him.
I mean, he said many times.
It's just going to be a disaster.
He said many times to Oscar, or in an interview he hears after the race that he heard that they were told to switch or what have you. He has said, why the hell would you switch? I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. Like,
and I think that's where you're going to see, as much as they might be alike, that's going to be the one sticking point where they're not. And he's not going to give that up.
No, he's not going to give that up. Zach won't be able to control it. Andrea Stella, who might not be there next year, he won't be able to control it.
And then you're answering to GP, who's not going to give it to Lando.
GP is not going to go for it. So, yeah,
he's going to let them race.
Yeah, I think it could end up being a Rosberg Hamilton scenario, and
I don't think it'll get that far.
No,
I think they'll come together, but I don't think it's going to be to the level of. I don't think Max will give a shit. Like, it's not going to back off. He's not going to even listen to somebody where they say, you hit again and you're paying for damages or you're out of the sport. Max will pay it. I don't think he really cares.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking more like that, but also like whatever friendship they have is whichever friendship they still have. I don't even know if they have one anymore.
I think they're cordial.
Yeah, but you used to see them like play paddle or whatever, and you don't see that anymore. But it's fine. Yeah, I think everything would come to blows if, like, Piastri going over to Red Bull with Hadjar. Cool, they're laughing.
Well, McLaren. Speaking of when we go there, I think it's more likely that, and we'll talk about it afterwards, why, but that Piastri could go to Mercedes, which I think would be a better fit for him.
You think Piastri going to
Mercedes would be a better fit for Piastri?
Okay.
And we can talk about why he might. Why there might be an available seat in a little bit.
As of next week. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, so you think out of all teams, let's say all teams are available, you think the best spot for Piastri is?
Yeah, let's just say McLaren isn't available because he's leaving. Yeah. And every other team, the other 10 teams are available. Yeah, I think it's obviously Mercedes.
Think he's going to Mercedes?
It's the fastest car. I think it's a better environment. I think Toto wants him. I think he'd actually be a better fit in that car and that driving style than George is at the moment. Because I think he's a driver who puts his head down, even if he's not happy. But he'll reset in a few laps and he'll just put his head down. We'll discuss it after and we'll get it done the next one.
Yeah. So same question for Max. Every car is available. Do you still think the McLaren is the best car for Max?
No, I still think it's Mercedes.
It's Mercedes.
Yeah, right now, I think
where I was going with it.
Yeah. Either he stays at the Red Bull or it's at the Mercedes.
Yeah, he goes
but
to
it's
Mercedes.
not. It is definitely not McLaren, and not to say that McLaren is badly. It's obviously they're obviously not badly managed.
No,
I just don't think it fits either of those two drivers.
No,
that situation.
Yeah, not at all. All right, well, that's the Oscar Max of it all. Again, we won't know until one person says they're leaving.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's that.
Yeah. Just a quick comment to stay on the Max thing. Not that I just like talking about Max. Everybody keeps talking about him to other people, or somebody has a comment about him. So he just seems to be the only driver that's in the news.
Yeah.
Juan Pablo Montoya, I think it was over the last weekend, on the Checkered Flag podcast, on F1's Checkered Flag podcast. Excuse me. There was questions about Max's comments about putting down the regulations, the old regulations. This is obviously the comments before the regulation changes. And he said, in response to Max's comments, that the way you're speaking about what you're living off of, your own sport, there should be consequences. Park him. Add 7 or 8 points to his license. At what point did a former F1 driver become such a bitch? You're telling me that this guy never had a problem with something the FIA did or had a decision about, something that the directors of F1 or the governing body of F1 had a problem with and never spoke out about, or other drivers? Yes, you're an athlete. Okay, first of all, we complain when athletes talk about things like politics and say stay in your lane or whatever. He's in his lane. He is talking about his sport.
Yeah.
If he's not happy, what is he supposed to do? Just say, yeah, everything's hunky dory.
Yeah.
Every person has absolutely every reason or every right to talk about whether it's positives or negatives about their sport.
Yeah. There was a recent change. He doesn't like the
so.
recent change.
Yeah. Even Montoya, as a pundit, has the ability to talk negatively or for whatever he wants. Now, maybe again, because he's such a little bitch and he's up working for F1 specifically, he's too scared to do it. But don't ask for somebody to be penalized or banned because they're expressing their ideas.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was something fundamentally wrong because they're making the change.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Like, he made enough noise that, and it's not just Max. It wasn't just Max. Max was the only one that you kept hearing. Yes. But a lot of them were talking
Lando
about
was shut down from talking about it.
Right. A lot of them talked about it. The drivers, the principals, the aerodynamicists, the strategy team. Like, everybody was talking about how this doesn't work. And guess what? They actually did something about it. So talking about this stuff is good.
Not only that, not only is it, they've changed it this year. They've already created changes for next year. And they've already talked about getting rid of most of it in 5 or 6 years. Yeah. Like, so there's something fundamentally wrong here. Just because you didn't like his comments, everybody else is... You have a completely different view of it. He probably doesn't. He probably thinks it's shit too. It's just he's too scared to say it or support it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when we used to be able to see into the driver briefings, we've seen the likes of Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher. Oh my God, his name just went out of my head. But all of these champions, multi-year champions, complain about something. Senna complained about the weekend he died. Yeah. Like, he did not want to race.
If the people who aren't in it don't speak up, what do we have?
Who's going to speak up?
We have unsafe conditions and no change.
Yeah.
In a sport that is constantly changing.
Yeah. Well, and like, I think, we saw Lando and George do the same thing. Like, they spoke out against Max. Oh, if he doesn't want to be here, whatever. But they even backed down from that once they realized, shit, this stuff is actually really wrong. Yeah. Especially the McLarens, because the Mercedes was still doing okay. But I think George actually finally really saw what was going on and was like, oh, yeah, no, this is not right. So in the beginning, you could say, oh, yeah, they're just being silly. They're just being rich kids, whatever. But
I feel a lot of the focus was also the Mario Kart comments and all that, and just talking it in a very disparaging way, which is whatever. Take it for what you want. Charles Leclerc, I think, was the first one who said the Mario Kart comment, wasn't he? Yeah. And then Max said it again, and then all the focus was on Max. It's not just this one person. Yeah. He's just the most vocal and most seen. Fine. But there's something wrong. Yeah. So stop being a mouthpiece when all you're doing is talking shit.
Yeah, and it didn't, I don't know if it landed. Because
It didn't. Absolutely did not.
You're just complaining now about something that you have done.
Not one person has had the same view as this absolute moron.
Yeah. No. It was stupid. Stupid comment. And to say he deserves to lose points.
Either race ban or get points on his license. Yeah. 7 or 8 points too, out of all things.
Out of 12? Like, that's a lot. Yeah. Like, you don't even get that many for driving somebody off the road. So, yeah.
Juan Pablo Montoya is my Danica Patrick of the year.
So far.
So far.
We got rid of one.
For a while, yeah.
We got rid of one, and now we've got another one.
Yeah.
Stupid. Anyways.
So speaking about champions speaking out. Would-be champions as well, I'm sure, have spoken out. So you and I talked about this a little bit before. It's been all over, and Will Buxton's comments have gotten a lot of attention for it, rightfully so. We'll talk about it in a sec. So in an interview with The Athletic, George Russell was quoted as saying, "If my time was 5 years prior, you could argue I'd have two championships in my name." Just going to let that sit with you for a second. Now, if you're watching on, you can see what her face is doing.
Yeah.
It smells like she just took a big whiff of Juan Pablo Montoya's breath.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. Which...
One.
Two championships. So George is saying if he was in F1 5 years before before he joined F1, he would have two championships.
That by now, at some point, he would have two championships.
And he's been in for 5 years now. He's been 6 years.
This is his 7th year. He's been in since 2019. Yeah.
Okay.
So, 7th or 8th, I don't know. That math is fucked up. Anyways, this is his 8th now.
I don't know what year we're 2026.
26. This is 8th year. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is his 8th year. So, before we shit all over this and just get carried away, because it would be very easy, I did a little digging while I was at work because I couldn't think about anything else. And I just put a couple little stats, and then we'll just go through what happened in those 5 years previous. Okay. So George is 28 right now. He turned 28 in February. So add those 5 years, he'd be 33 by now. Right in the prime, getting close to that retirement age for an average F1 driver. Okay. He did win championships in F4, F3, and F2. Okay. He's had 26 podiums and 156 starts. That is a 16% clip for podiums. Okay. Just by comparison, now I don't remember if Charles Leclerc's been in one more year. Was it 2018?
Yes.
Something like that.
Because I think it was 2018 that he went to Alfa Romeo.
And so one extra year, he's got 52 podiums, no championships. Just to leave that out there.
Okay.
So if you added 5 years at that 16% clip, that was an extra 101 races in those five races. So it'd be at 257 starts. And that would convert to about, at a 60% clip, 41 podiums. So he's still an extra 5 years, about 10 behind Charles.
Okay.
And so he's saying that at his current rate of racing, now he's obviously gotten a lot more podiums in his his last 4 years. Out of those, he's had 41 podiums. So he's expecting that those 41 podiums, let's say they're all first places, would basically convert to two championships. Which seems like impossible math already. Now, I don't know if George is just calling, if I had just been in the Mercedes for an extra 5 years. Possibly. That's because he would have been in Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes.
Yeah.
Because in 2014...
which is 5 years prior.
5 years prior to George entering. Lewis Hamilton won the World Championship at that point with Mercedes. Nico Rosberg in another Mercedes was second. Daniel Ricciardo won third. And Valtteri Bottas in the Williams, which is most likely where George would have started, in a Williams.
Right.
Coming out of F2. Finished fourth. Very respectable for the Williams. Doesn't get much better for the Williams after that, unfortunately.
That was the last.
Also,
the last time.
Also, every single race in 2014 was won by either Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg, or Daniel Ricciardo. And Daniel Ricciardo only won 3. So every other race out of I think it was 20 at that point.
20, yeah.
Had won every other race. We move on to 2015, excuse me. Every single race was won by Lewis Hamilton or Nico Rosberg. Save for 1, 2, 3 by Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari.
Okay.
Again, Lewis
he's
Hamilton.
in the Ferrari. Okay.
He's in the Ferrari at this point. Lewis Hamilton won the championship with Nico Rosberg behind him and the 2 Ferraris behind that, and then the 2 Williams behind the Ferraris. Valtteri Bottas still at 5th, a few points down, about 50 points less. Okay?
Okay.
So we can see the Williams decline here. Now, I'm assuming that George would probably be at least 2, let's say 3 years in the Williams. Okay? So he's just steady decline. And that's if he performs. Because the other driver was Felipe Massa, and he didn't last very long in that Williams.
No.
We move on to 2016, and we move on to the fabled season for Mercedes in 2016. That was obviously won by Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton in second, Daniel Ricciardo in third in the Red Bull, Sebastian Vettel in fourth with the Ferrari, Max Verstappen in his first year in fifth with the Red Bull, Kimi Räikkönen in sixth with the Ferrari, Sergio Perez in seventh in the Force India, and Valtteri Bottas in eighth with under 100 points at 85 in the Williams. And then Felipe Massa is down at 53 or something. So not very good.
No.
So George, you're not looking good for the first 3 years
of this
of your career, of this 5-year extension. Again, in 2016, every single race except for 2, which were 2 Red Bulls, 1 Max, 1 Daniel Ricciardo, were won by a Mercedes.
And that was because the Mercedes took each other out that year.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
1000%.
because necessarily
1000%.
the Red Bull beat them.
it was either Nico Rosberg or Lewis Hamilton, and then just 2 races. They're actually winning more than they were the previous 2. Then we get to 2017. So we're still not at George time yet.
Nope.
This was a Lewis Hamilton win again in Mercedes. Sebastian Vettel in Ferrari.
Shocking.
Valtteri Bottas in third in the Mercedes. Kimi Räikkönen in fourth, and then the 2 Red Bulls in fifth and sixth. Okay, that other Williams, the 2 Williams, were Lance Stroll and Felipe Massa. So you're not getting that seat with Lance Stroll. It might have been Lance Stroll and George Russell at that point. Felipe Massa.
They would have been like, we'll take this British kid.
They had a combined 83 points between the 2 of them. If he had even after 3 years been promoted to the Mercedes, he's not winning it over Lewis Hamilton in 2017. There's just no fucking way.
No.
Okay, you're going to do exactly what Valtteri Bottas was doing, and you're going to play second fiddle to Lewis, because Lewis is at this point, 6-time champion? 5-time champion, possibly? Can't remember. 5-time champion.
5.
So, there's no way. There's team orders. You're not beating them. You're playing defense, and you're just protecting your boy. Okay?
Yeah.
Then we get to 2018, the year before he comes in. Again, surprise, surprise. Lewis Hamilton wins the championship with 408 points. 2 Ferraris behind that, which are Vettel and Räikkönen. Max Verstappen in fourth, 249. Valtteri Bottas in a lowly fifth in the Mercedes at 247 points. 150 point difference between Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. In that year, it's a pretty good split between the Ferraris and the Mercedes, and a couple of Red Bulls sprinkled in there. So no, you're not winning championships in your first 5 years.
No.
I'm sorry, George. You're absolutely fucking delusional. It's not happening. Actually not even, because 2019, let's go quickly here. I'm just going to run through these quickly. Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, still 90-point clips. Or 90-point, separation with Max Verstappen in third. Obviously still playing defense for Valtteri. 2020, Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, 120-point difference. And then Max Verstappen behind there. And then we all know how 2021 went. In 2021, even if you are the second driver, okay, Max won by, what is that again? 8 points. Valtteri Bottas had 226. There is no way in that title fight where it's that close and you can get Lewis his 8th title that you are anywhere near sniffing a championship or a first place, even in any race. There's no way. You are absolutely, even if you're 1-2, being told to switch.
Yeah.
To get him the points to win that championship. There is no fucking way in hell.
Yeah.
And so then we get back to your present day in a Mercedes, and nothing's going to change because then your car's shit.
Well, I was going to say, because after 2021, 2022, the Mercedes fell off.
Exactly.
I mean, they were coming in
new regulation change.
Fourth and fifth, I think.
Yeah, but it was new regulations. They tried the no tripods thing, and then they just and they switched it all up. It's
you might be getting one this year, but like
that's the thing. Like, even if you had started 5 years earlier, say you went in the Williams, after a couple of years, you got a better offer somewhere else. Go to another car, great. That Mercedes still dominated every single thing on track.
Yeah.
There is no fucking way that you little entitled bitch boy think you're getting 2 championships off of I'm sorry. I hope one day we can interview, but you're not getting these championships off Lewis Hamilton. Even if you have a chance, you're switching. And Will Buxton said it best. It feels like the level of entitlement is through the roof with him. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's entitlement. Maybe it's the fact that it's starting to crack. This pressure from Kimi and not being the golden boy anymore, not being there's a clear level playing field between the two of them right now at Mercedes, where he thought he was going to be the mentor, the number one. I think he's starting to crack a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe he's just trying to build himself up, but don't build yourself up with delusional.
Well, it's funny because that same interview with Will Buxton, Naomi Schiff is also in that interview. And she kind of says, well, if you have that championship win in you, why is your 2-year rookie beating you? Like, this is only his second year. He is number one in the drivers' championship right now. And look at all the mistakes. Kimi's had some great drives, but Kimi's made a lot of mistakes, and George has not been able to capitalize on them. So,
I know we rag on him. I know we rag on him a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
And George radios are some of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah.
But it sounds more so where he's got this victim mentality, like, why is this being done to me? Mm-hmm. As opposed to, let me drive my ass off and make this work. Yeah. Let me put my head down, fuck everything else that's happened, put it behind me, instead of, what can I do here? Why am I so slow? This, that, like, blaming everybody else. You have equal machinery.
Yeah.
There should be no reason. I mean, other than the fact that you're the foot and a half taller than this kid probably, so you got a little more weight on you. But it shouldn't be. If he's figuring it out, then you need to figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
because it's not the car, and it's you.
Yeah,
sorry, that's why you're not being taken to prom.
He needs a little bit of the Oscar Piastri mentality. I don't agree with this. If he gets close to me, I'll let him pass. Not that we agree with that whole switching situation, but when we hear a George radio, and like you said, they're great radios.
Yeah.
But the panic,
love it.
The anxiety in his voice of everything it's raining. What's going on? What are we getting? Like,
like you can hear the beads of sweat coming off him.
Yeah, where Piastri, who is racing, somebody that he could beat as well, he is like, don't like that, but sure, bring him in first. I'd like to come in first. Why are we on these tires? And like, he's in the middle of like passing people on corners while having these radios. So he needs a little bit of that. And I mean, a wild statement to me.
Well, yeah. And that's where, and exactly. Like, I think that's where he's thinking, where he just deserves this already. Just like time served, he deserves this.
Yeah.
Whereas you have to earn it to deserve it.
Yeah.
Like, it was the same thing with Lando last year. He had to earn it. Okay, he deserves the accolades. He deserves the respect.
Right.
Much as I don't like giving it to him, he does. and he gets it. And you see now too, on track, he also gets to it. But he also doesn't give up either. He doesn't let the panic unsettle him. He doesn't, he's still racing. He's still got a little bit of grit to him. You can't just take it for granted and just hope it's going to be handed to you.
Right.
And that's kind of what he feels like he's talking about here.
Well, and you can look at somebody like Hulk, who's been in Formula One for 15 years, that got his first podium last year. He never said something like, "Oh, if I was here, whatever. If I was in, like, yeah, okay, if you were in a Ferrari, you probably would be on a podium." But you also have people like an Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, who have not been in a Ferrari or a Mercedes that have a race win.
Yep.
So, like, what are we talking about here?
Yep.
Like, there are people. Fernando Alonso is still racing after 2 retirements, hasn't won a championship, hasn't won a race in 6 years, maybe?
Yeah.
Like, his last championship was 2008? No. Maybe? Something like that. 2008, 2010. So nobody's, just because you're Fernando Alonso and has won 3 doesn't mean you get 4. Just because you're Lewis Hamilton.
Well, clearly you're not. Just because you have 7, you're not getting 8.
7. Anything
Still
you do.
Work harder than everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, any move you make doesn't mean you get there. And I mean, I can see the side of like, okay, yeah, like, if I was here, I'd probably be a little bit further along in my career, and maybe I would have been moved into a Mercedes faster or a Ferrari faster. Fine.
Still wouldn't make a difference. Let's look through history. We did.
But yeah, like, your history just wasn't
meant
there.
to be.
It wasn't there.
Wasn't. It might be in a bit, but it's not there, and not if you're going to keep talking like this.
No, I think he's
you
pissing
do not
off a lot
see
of people.
Yes, I can't. I say I can't wait for the drivers' interviews on Thursday, but I don't know that everybody's going to have the balls to go out and go at him as hard as they need to on this.
No.
Because Will Buxton's not going to ask him that like the way it is. And if he did, George is not going to answer or answer properly the way he should. He's probably going to say it was taken out of context. This is not blah, 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 blah. Some PR bullshit answer.
Yeah.
But we all know what he really means.
Yeah. I mean, the only person that I can see Ted.
Maybe a Dutch driver, maybe.
But
or
I can see,
a Dutch reporter.
Yeah, I can see Ted doing it, like when he's walking with him, if they do like a one-on-one, sometimes they do those like features with like Alex Albon or whatever with Ted. Like, I can see him saying it, but are they even going to let him?
I would love for it to be, and I don't even want it to be directed at George, because I don't want a canned bullshit answer. I want somebody to go, like, it's a panel with George, Max, and Lewis. And they ask Lewis and say, George made these comments in The Athletic about 5 years earlier. Do you think that he's correct in his statement, blah, 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 and just see. And you'll still get a canned PR answer, but just to see the shit-eating grin on Lewis and Max, and George just being like, fuck.
Yeah.
would make my day.
Yeah, it would even be kind of funny if it's a panel like that and George isn't in it, because I feel like they would probably say a little bit more if he's not there.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
yeah.
I can see the Lewis and Max eyes just looking at each other, laughing. Even if they throw Bottas into that, because Bottas would have been the other seat in the Mercedes.
Max has also made comments this year where he showed up to he showed up to the paddock at one point, and he pointed at him. They were doing like the walkthroughs, and they videotaped and whatever. And he pointed at himself, and he pointed at Lewis, who was just behind him. He said, 7-time world champion, 4-time world champion. First one's at the track.
Yeah, I did see that. And that was Miami.
Just to have that kind of a response to George saying, I should have 2 championships by now.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
Would be great. Yeah.
So George might not have a seat.
So we might see Piastri and Mercedes. This all might come to fruition. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know how much Toto loves this kind of talk.
I don't think he likes it at all.
No.
I don't think he likes it at all. I think he's going to have a sit down with George and talk about some of the comments he made. Yeah. And now George is going to have a Mercedes PR for every single interview.
Yeah. Yeah, we always knew Mercedes as like the very I don't mean this in like a bad way, but like the uptight team. They didn't really do all the joking videos. They didn't really, they always dressed in a certain way other than Lewis would do his fashion
Well,
stuff.
not even just that, but they let, see, that's the thing though. I think they let, like Lewis being doing the fashion stuff, but they also let their drivers be their drivers, right? Like they always let like Bottas do his fun little calendars and all that stuff and be him. And
well, didn't he only do that once he left?
I
think he only started that. I think he started it after he left at
Oh,
Sauber.
I thought they did it the year before, but you could be right.
Or his reserve driver.
No, I think he did it the year he left Mercedes.
Yeah.
Maybe. But then when he was reserve driver, they said they weren't going to stop him from being him. Which, if you saw his Miami post, I was like, this is a little disturbing.
Yeah.
Just bare buns in the pool there.
Yeah.
Under the jet, so it just looked like he was farting in the water. It was actually pretty good. But anyways, it seems like, at least now, that they seem like they're just more so of a, let the drivers be the drivers, but let's represent the team in a proper fashion.
Yeah. I can't see Toto loving this.
No.
At all. Because Toto's likes the drama of him versus a principal. He doesn't like the drama surrounding his team.
No.
Like, my drivers are doing something stupid. He doesn't like that. He's been there, done that, over it. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens
for 2027.
next week.
Let's go.
You're locking it in?
No. I've lost too much money on F1.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much
I think that's
it. Yeah, I think that's it.
I
think I had all dirty airs all episode. It was just
I did see Fernando. I just mentioned it to you. Fernando Alonso did make a statement that if he gets his current car, into P5 or a 5th position in any race, he will retire at that race. So we could see another Fernando Alonso. Well, actually, could we? Could we see another?
Well, like we talked about before, unless 17 cars crashed out or DNF'd or DNS, a combination of any of the two. At one race, and there's only 5 left to cross the line, then maybe. But like I told you,
would be the last of the 5.
Yeah, but if I told you, he'd probably, before he crossed that finish line, put his car right into the wall, just like, so he wouldn't have to retire.
Yeah.
Not like this.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's a little bit of funny to end, opposed to the dirty airs that we've had the whole time. But yeah, we will be one more weekend of no races. Yeah.
No racing.
But we'll be back and we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Grab a fresh set.
Bye.